Okay, welcome back, everyone. We're in the warm Durban um, at a congress, actually, a dental congress. So this is probably the one time in the year in Durban where there's probably the most oral health practitioners in the country at one space and one time. Our next guest, you probably already know her if you follow anything dental or even non-dental on social media and things like that. Dr. Rohini Bisaal. Thank you so much for joining us, and
Oh, thank you so much, guys.
yeah, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here.
There's a story I have about you, a personal one.
Hmm.
Um, not long ago, maybe 3 years ago. You probably won't remember this, but
Yeah.
I was at one of these congresses, but it was in Cape Town, and I've got a colleague that works with me in the UK. His name is Alistair McKelvey. He works at Dental Protection,
Yeah.
and in my job, from time to time, I write articles about ethics and professional whatever issues.
hmm
And so there's one article that I wrote. I was very proud because it got published in a magazine called The Dentist in the UK. So it actually got published in the UK.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so I told him, okay, Alistair, you're coming to Cape Town for this Congress. Do me a favor and please will you actually bring a hard copy of the magazine for me
Yeah.
so I can have it, as for memento's sake, right? So he brings it, and then I'm sitting at one of these booths getting ready to present, and I'm paging through it. And then I turned to one of these pages. It's a full page advert, and there's a woman on the page. It had nothing to do with dentistry. I can't remember, but it was. I was like, I know this person from somewhere.
Yeah.
And then it clicked because I follow you on social media. I'm like, no, this is Dr. Bisaal, but what is going on? So I took a photo and I said spotted, and I sent it to you.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? How is your photo in all random places in the country and in the
Gosh.
world, overseas even?
Yeah.
And also, I think recently you just posted that you spotted yourself somewhere. It was a momentum advert or something like that.
It's very odd. So a bit of a story. While I was studying dentistry, so I think I was in second year or third year, I decided, okay, let me start modeling. So I was in Cape Town. I studied via UWC, and I just approached agencies and then applied and so on. And those shots that you see me spotted at is purely images that I've taken while I was modeling during my modeling career. And it's really funny because a lot of the pictures are also dental related. One of my colleagues in the UK, he used my pictures for one of his websites. But essentially, it's just via modeling. People go on this website, they buy the images, it's stock images, and that's how they source the images, and they use me as a face of whatever brand it is. So, yeah, it's really it's interesting that I still get spotted nowadays, and it's kind of heartwarming because it's a part of my life that was kind of my side hustle. So, when you're studying, you want to make extra money on the side and so on. So that was the way that I also grew in my modeling career as well. And it turned out to be this way.
And
Yeah.
if I can ask, how does that work? Do they pay you per viewing, or once
I wish
the
it
shoot is
did.
done?
I
then it's
wish
done?
it did, but unfortunately, there's no royalties.
Okay.
But
yeah.
you do get paid for the shoot and for the usage and so on. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, isn't it a bit jarring? Like, what if you spot yourself in like something that you don't want to associate yourself with?
So
Do
you
they tell
see-
you what they're going to use it for?
See, unfortunately not. So with regards to the images, it is very professionally used. So it's only professional companies that are able to purchase your images and so on. So if they get, the images that I've taken is very professional related in a suit or whatever it is, there wouldn't be anything that would go against anything.
You
that
know this,
would-
or you hope this?
I like to hope that I signed the contract for a reason, right?
Okay,
So it
okay, so
protects you as a model from any.
Well, hold
Any
on. I work
negative-
with lots of doctors and dentists,
Yeah.
and one thing I know,
Yeah.
and I'm guilty of this myself even,
Sure.
is like we don't read everything we sign, right? Like, so
Yeah.
I hope you're ready
Did you
to
get an
I get
attorney to
you.
go through?
now I'm making you a bit nervous.
But look, it's purely because being in the modeling industry for such a long time and then the
Yeah.
pageantry and so on, you tend to become very much so used to what is
Okay.
out there. So it's not just me shooting for that specific company that uses the images. I've done a lot of other shoots that have obviously the same sort of, you go through the contract and so on. And also I was with an agency at the time. So being with an agency and not a freelance model obviously does protect you a little bit more because they obviously they protect you from an agency point of view. So I think from that perspective, especially when I chose an agency to work within Cape Town, you got to suss out I was with DNA Modeling Agency, so they're quite a reputable one. You've got to make sure, because look, the industry as a whole, not the social media, or I would say what would you call it? The arty sort of industry.
The creative side.
The creative side. It's not the most glamorous as people may see it to be. There are certain things that can be a little negative to your reputation and so on. So you've got to be very wary with who you associate with and what you're shooting for. And I've always been cognizant of that, knowing that I am studying a professional degree at the same time. But I think one of my biggest things was also for myself to break barriers, to be like, I don't want to just be a dentist. I don't want to just be cooped up into one specific thing, because I do have a creative side of me. I mean, when I was in school, I studied drama. I thought if dentistry didn't work out, I'll probably go into acting or something like that. So it was me fulfilling that creative side of myself, but doing it in a way that is professional and I would say elegant and classy and so on. That's what I want to go for. So I guess that's where the modeling comes into it. And obviously, yeah, you spotted me there.
That's fascinating. Yeah, it's cool. I think you might have you're probably on billboards and things.
Yeah, there was once I was on the Caltrain train or like a bus in Joburg, and then my sister was in Joburg. She like quickly took a video. She's like, "Oh, you're on the bus, you're on the Caltrain." They were advertising for Caltrain and so on. There's once where I'm in Clicks, and then I'm advertising for a pain medication where it's like I'm showing like I'm in pain. So, when everybody goes to Clicks and then they see me on there, it's quite interesting. When you spot yourself as well, you're like, oh, I remember the BTS of those. Like, it's not just the image that you see. You remember what happened behind the scenes, how we got into position, and also the feeling you needed to create to bring about those images. So it's very special, and I'm very grateful for that.
Also, you're used to this thing of people tagging you and saying spotted here, spotted there, everywhere.
Oh,
yeah. It's cool. I mean, I don't know. It's either cool or it's creepy, but I guess if you know what it's going to be used for, then it's cool.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side of that, I recently came across something that was taken off me without my consent.
Okay.
And it was posted in a group for advertising purposes. I think in one of our previous episodes with somebody else, at one of our cousins, it was also, we discussed this. But yeah, consent is super important, not just in dentistry. It's whatever it is. But that advert with you like, cringing in pain for clicks.
Yeah.
Did they ask you to like perform a certain
yes.
like role?
So you get a bit of a brief.
Okay.
So, this is what we want, different expressions. We want different types of, images. And then when you put it online, Clicks just happen to buy the image. So it depends on what companies are looking for those things. I know it's very odd because, you think like, okay, why am I in this? But it's also the photographer that wants to capture these images because it's also part of their portfolio.
Of course, yeah.
And then they've got
a list, a shoot list.
Yes. But I mean, back in the day, that was many years ago. I think if I think about it, it was possibly a good 7-8 years ago that I shot these images. So when I see it, I'm like, now I'm like in my 30s. So it's still odd. But content back then isn't as hyped up as it is now. Everything is content.
Yeah.
Everything is put out there, which, sometimes I also get a little, I've been on social media for years now, but sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, you got to be so cognizant of also what you put out there. Because before I used my Instagram as a scrapbook, in dentistry, showing people this is what I'm taking an impression and so on. It was sort of like a little diary for me. And now it's turned into a space where it's attracting businesses, and businesses are utilizing it now to get their brand out there, which I think is brilliant. But at the same time, because I've been in this creative space, I find that you got to be so much more aware of what you associate yourself with and how you also portray yourself as. You can't just use it as a diary and just post whatever you want to do now. You got to be so careful what you say and what you post.
So one of the talks that I give in my day job is about social media in the professional context for doctors and dentists. And I always say this when I go and speak to the guys or girls, is that I'm so grateful that when I was young, social media was not mainstream and was in its infancy because I used to put a whole lot of crap out there, to be frank.
Yeah.
I used to talk a whole lot of nonsense. And I chalk it down to, firstly, social media being a new thing. Secondly, I was like, a teenager at the time, 17, 18, 19, young, even in early 20s. I feel like, and I never thought about what I'm putting out there. And I don't know if you ever get this, but to me, one of the features of these social media platforms is those memories feature where it shows you something that you've put
Pops
up
up,
like
yeah.
10, 15 years ago. You're like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I said this, or I typed like this. And some people will have typed in small characters and big characters
And
and all
little
those.
emojis.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all those, like, puppy speak and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I just delete it because I'm like, I cannot believe I did it. But
Yeah.
I think I said to myself, I'm so grateful because I probably would have still done that now. If I was young now, I would have done that. And there's so many more people on social media now to see that. So
I think that also opens up a topic which I really feel passionate about, where, yes, I do agree that, sometimes when we were younger, I mean, I did the same thing. It's still probably on my Instagram when I scroll right down to 2016. But I do think that it's one thing knowing that, yes, you've done those silly things and so on, but also owning those silly things, that it was a part of your life. You weren't doing anything wrong. It makes you as who you are, and it grows you as a person. So when you look at that, you own it. That's what
As long as you haven't offended anybody.
yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, obviously you have to look at the content and so on. But like, if you're just having fun and you're just living your life, you're just living life with your friends, your family, and just showing things that make you you, I think it's beautiful. I mean, I look back at things where, I look at it and my first thing would be like, oh man, I was so silly. But at the same time, if that wasn't me, I wouldn't have grown into the person I am now. So it kind of molds you. It makes you reflect. And as I was telling you before, like, I love reflecting. I love reflecting and going back and seeing what made me who I am now. And the thing is, you constantly want to improve and you want to be like, okay, fine, this is my vision for this year. This is what I want to do and achieve. And yes, social media makes it easy because when you go back, you can see your progress as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's your brand. I mean, it's what you do is kind of showcasing your lifestyle in its entirety. It's not just dentistry.
Yeah.
You do post a lot about wellness and centeredness. When did that come about? Is that something recent that you've found yourself embarking on?
So spirituality has been a huge part of my life and sort of like a moral compass for me for many years. When I say many years, I mean, I grew up in a household where the religion was Hinduism and so on. And obviously, I respect my religion a lot. And then when I headed to Cape Town and I was alone and I didn't have anybody there, I found that me just connecting with myself through prayer, through meditations, I think the meditations are something that really, really helped me. I'm learning from various incredible mentors that I still hold close to. I mean, Bob Proctor, there's Joe Dispenza, all these people that share wisdom and share life via their experiences. And the one thing I love about Joe Dispenza is that he has a scientific backing about whatever he does. And when you go into that realm and when you experience it for yourself, it's something that is very hard to explain. And I find that it's very grounding, and it's one of the biggest things that I use as for any decision makings in my life, the way I embark with anything that goes on in my life. And I think that for me personally, having that grounding and having that connection to a higher power is so important. So again, I've had that for many years. I haven't really said much about it out there. I know I do bring it in here and there, but I think that it also just makes us see life so differently, where we're all one. And it also just breaks down that level of, you need to compete with other people. It's more yourself, it's more of the internal process.
So I'm going to expose myself here and be vulnerable in public.
I love it. Yeah.
Again?
Stop it, Yak. I'm a recovering cynic / grumpy person / one of those types, right?
It depends who you ask.
So where, like, when I see people sharing things online, if you spoke to me like 5 years ago, I'd say, oh, that person, they overdo it. Like, they overshare. What's wrong with them, right? Why I say I'm recovering is that I've realized that it takes a level of self-confidence, self-sureness. I can't think of the other words, but self-esteem. To put these things out there the way you do. because you do share quite openly a lot of things. I'm sure there's things that you don't share deliberately, but
Sure.
I've learned that that's actually something to admire, because if you spoke to me 5 years ago and said, look at you, your type of person that shares things online, and I know this might sound bad, but I'm saying it, right?
Sure.
I would have been like, that person overshares. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I do get it now. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have started this podcast where we share things quite openly. I don't know. I don't think I have a question about that, but maybe just a comment. Do you ever think to yourself, like, am I overdoing it? Am I oversharing? How do you deal with that? Because I'll tell you, sometimes I do. Even with my podcast and things that I've started putting out recently, I'm like, should I have said this? Should I have not? What would so-and-so think about this, or that person, or this person,
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, before you answer that,
Sure.
like I can vouch for what he's saying, because that's what I joked about, and I said depends who you ask, because to some degree I still think he's quite a cynic and judgmental.
But the closest people are I mean,
Yeah,
each
no,
other.
of course, exactly.
Yes,
It depends. Yeah, we're family. But even when it came to my social media and the things that I was doing, I'm very cynical of myself. I'm very judgmental of myself, because I create content. I've got tons and tons of content. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like I'm comparing it to a previous post that I made. Or I'm comparing it to someone else's that's done the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel this is not worthy of posting.
Sure.
Like, I don't want to post this.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently I kind of self-introspected, where I had a close friend that was leaving to go somewhere, and I made this post that was very emotional and it was vulnerable for me, but I wanted to share it with people. And yeah, I might have overdone it. People thought he died, but he just moved overseas.
Shame.
And he started coming back a lot, so people thought, wow, what was that about?
Yeah.
But yeah, to reiterate what he's saying, like, how does it actually, do you go through a process when you decide what you want to post and when you want to post? Because, I mean, I'll give the listeners and viewers some form of context. Every morning, I think you post something, and it's a lot to do with wellness.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I read it myself, because I want to kind of resonate with, okay, this person is in a whole another city, woken up at this specific time, looking at the ocean. And it's like nice, to know that someone else is out there that's on a journey that you can relate to.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you for that, because it's always lovely listening or hearing that somebody appreciates the simple things. And I think, coming back to what you said about vulnerability, it's something I feel so deeply about. Vulnerability is strength. People think it's a weakness. And yes, you are going, the more you post, the more you are out there, you're going to put yourself out there to be judged, to be disliked, to be liked as well. But honestly, what grounds me is knowing that I myself am being authentically me. I'm not trying to put up a facade to please anyone, to do anything that's for the likes, the views, and so on. That's never been my modus with anything. Even when brands approach me and so on, I'm like, this is it. This is what I do. This is my reach and so on. Take it or leave it. I'm not going to do something that is not authentically me. And I think when we share with journeys, we share with struggles even. And I think recently I did share one of my struggles. I was in hospital earlier this year, and I completely went off social media because it was a tough time in my life. But when I came back and I posted about that, I felt as if people also see I'm not just this unicorn in a bubble that believes in sunshine and rainbows. Yes, that is a part of me. But I go through my struggles and life happens. And I think people who also go through struggles can see that and relate to that. And know that, my struggles are also valid. Everyone goes through their struggles. I mean, we could be going through our internal struggles right now today, but we have to show up. We have to do what we need to do. And that's life, right? So again, vulnerability, huge strength. And I will continue to do that. And even yesterday, for example, I was, I went home to my family and so on and spent some time with them. And I always do this. Last year I did it as well. Day 1 of SADA, day 2 of SADA. But I knew my reel could have been better or edited better. I didn't really care though, because I was like, I still want to put it out. I still want to get it out there because it is what it is. Again, it doesn't matter things don't need to be as crisp and perfect. Sometimes there's so much of value in the imperfections.
Mhm.
And I think that's something that I would always want to, especially for the younger. I'm very passionate about younger people and trying to motivate them and showing them that you don't have to be perfect all the time. You don't have to wear the specific thing or be on point all the time. I mean, put your hair up in a messy bun and go out there for a jog and do whatever you need to, and that makes you you.
Mm.
You know, and I think that that is something I will continue to do and continue to however I use my social media. So yeah.
And are you also like me where you're comfortable with, at the end of the day, there are going to be people that just dislike you
Yeah.
for whatever you put out, even
For
if,
sure.
and
for
there'll be
sure.
people that like you and support you. So
Yeah.
you got to do what you want to do,
Exactly.
as long as you're not hurting people.
As long as you're not hurting people and as long as you're just being real and authentically you,
Yeah.
you're going to find your people. Again, back to spirituality. What you put out there and what you attract, you're going to attract your tribe, regardless of whatever anybody tells you. It may take some time or whatever, but when you're constantly in that realm of just being you, you're not pretending to be anybody else. I mean, imagine you're pretending to be somebody that you're not. Then you attract something that you know is not going to resonate with you. You have that feeling that this is not gelling well, and you ask yourself why. It's because you weren't being real to yourself.
Well, speaking of spirituality and our culture, you know, in our culture, the people say too many people will put eyes for you. You don't worry about that.
I mean, here's my black dot. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
You must just turn salt, as Yak said. A lot
Turn
of the time.
salt.
Nazar.
Yeah.
So we didn't even talk about, you know what the name of this podcast is, right? Why did I become a doctor?
Yeah,
South
it is.
Africa. So yeah, who in their right mind grows up and says, I want to be a dentist, huh?
Well, but before that, you
And why?
you grew up in Durban.
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
So you want to tell us more about that? Where and
So growing up, family home was in Rossborough, Seaview, around that area.
where's that?
So it's close to Queensborough.
Okay,
Very
so
close
like
to
Pinetown area.
No,
wait. It's
close,
more
close to Bluff.
okay.
So Southie Mall, the driving centres there, the Citron Road driving
Wait a
school.
minute. So I grew up in Pietermaritzburg, and
Okay.
the commute between Pietermaritzburg and Durban, as we're getting down on the N3, there's I think it was a Queensborough turnoff. There's this huge, like white hotel-looking structure. There's actually memes made about it. I can't, I don't know, but it's over a bridge, like an interchange. And I actually saw a meme recently, and it was for Pietermaritzburg people because it said, growing up, we always wondered what was this palatial looking structure.
Love it.
And I'll find that meme and I'll share it with you.
Sure.
But is it around that area?
No. It's a little more internal. How do I explain Rossborough? It's close to the Bluff sort of area. So it's around there. But again, we just use Queensborough as a landmark because a lot of people are like, Rossborough, I've never heard of Rossborough. But it's literally right next to Queensborough.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where we grew up. Family built a house there when I was in primary school. And then that was my family home.
You said we, it's yourself and your
my dad,
sister.
my mom, my older sister, and myself. So it was just the four of us. And grew up there, went to school, Durban Girls High School. That was my high school. Penzance Primary was my primary school. I'll tell you about the story of why I became a dentist, doctor dentist. It also has to do with I was in primary school at Gordon Road Girls. And then I switched over to Penzance Primary for a reason, though. And then I went over to Durban Girls High. But again, I'll come back to that. So grew up in the community and then left to Cape Town to go study. So studied in Cape Town. And yeah, I think my childhood was very much centered around just the four of us. I mean, we had our cousins and so on, but we were a very close-knit family. So family was literally everything, still is now. So yeah, very, very close.
I know Yash will probably want to get a bit more granular with me too about your journey into finding out, like, why did you want to become a dentist? Like, what led you to going down that road? You want to elaborate on that at this juncture so we don't forget?
Sure. Yeah, since you mentioned it. So growing up, my self-confidence was not the greatest, purely because I was bullied really badly at school. I had terrible teeth. They used to call me Bugs Bunny. I used to get kicked under the table, bullied where things were said to me, and I didn't fit in. I think there was a certain group of, it was a girls' school, it was a certain group of girls that just targeted me because of the way I looked, the way I speak, the way I just was. I didn't feel I fitted in. Then I left that school and joined another
For
school.
that reason.
For
being
that
bullied.
reason.
Okay.
And it really, really affected me growing up. And then I went to another primary school, much happier there. Really felt as if I was seen and heard. But also during that time, I went and I got braces. So that was a very transformative journey for me because that corrected my smile. It literally, when I say it changed my life on a level that I didn't think it would, I literally looked at myself in the mirror. You know, you go for that 6-weekly checkup and so on, you change your elastics and so on, ortho, and you see the changes. And I just couldn't wait to get the braces off. And I remember the day I got my braces off and I looked in the mirror, I honestly felt like a different person. And you know what they say, when you smile more, you release more endorphins and so on. And I was just such a happier person. And because it did that for me, I wanted to look more into the career and dentistry as a whole and how can I do that for other people? And that's essentially how it started.
You're not the first guest to tell us that a dental story changed their life and inspired them to do it. We had Abish Jagatpal, Dr. Jagatpal on.
Yeah.
He's a prosthodontist specialist. You know him, right? You always
Yeah.
see him at these congresses and things. He had a similar life-changing experience with a dentist. Yours was orthodontics, right?
Yes.
Who was your orthodontist?
That was Dr. Valley.
Oh, okay.
In
Is it
Musgrave,
Ismail?
yeah.
Ismail.
Yes, Ismail Valley.
Yeah, well, shout out to Dr. Ismail
Yeah.
Valley. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See, he probably doesn't know this,
Yeah.
but if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be what you are
For
today and where you
sure.
are today.
For sure. And I remember even after I qualified, I went and shadowed him for a bit as well.
Cool.
Just to see how the ortho world works and so on. So
Yeah.
it was, I'm glad I also got that experience with him.
Yeah, sweet. Well done. Shout out to him. Yeah, you're not going to become an orthodontist one day.
I'll stick to my aligners for now.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. So speaking of aligners,
Yeah.
I've got aligners on right now,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, they've kind of changed my life in the sense that I'm now on OMAD. You know what OMAD is? Never heard of it? Yak?
No.
1 meal a day. I also didn't know.
Nice.
Because I'm just such a lazy person that
You don't take them off.
No. So like, well, maybe the viewers won't know, but you'll definitely know because you're a provider. But you got to wear them at least 22 hours a day.
Correct.
And after you eat, you've got to floss and brush teeth. And, so if I eat, the more I eat, the more I'm going to have to floss and brush my teeth. So I'm such a lazy person. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'll do it, morning and evening only. Yeah.
But you're a provider as well of
Yeah.
aligners. But don't you find it's almost like it's like a happenstance that, especially with our female patients, they kind of say that it's led them to actually losing some weight as well.
100%.
Because of,
Yeah.
as he's saying, the inconvenience of like taking it out and brushing and whatever it is kind of reduces their snacking and their
Yes.
meal times.
A lot of my patients have said that. They're like, no, I'm going to go on a diet now. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's become a lifestyle. I've
wanna
lost
lose
weight.
weight?
I've lost weight. No, it's genuinely. And I'm,
Do you align it because of your aligners?
yeah, I've lost like kgs worth.
Jeez.
Yeah. But the fact that you haven't noticed is not promising, but okay. Yeah. Okay, but so was it easy getting into dental school, or were you like one of those 6A students?
I
And
wouldn't say I'm a 6A student,
yeah,
but I
You
got
are.
in. So I'm
yeah. Did you get 6As?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I
Okay.
didn't. No.
Well, that's why you don't
But-
want to say
but
it.
yeah, I mean, I'm open to
I got
that. Like, I
6As.
mean,
I
well done.
knew that. That was like a segue.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I got 6As. Yeah. Go on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially just literally, I think honestly, I look at it as a God's plan. Of course I worked hard. Of course I had to look into what the credentials are to get into dentistry and so on. And, God willingly, I'm glad I did get into it. And even the dental journey, being at UWs was, oh gosh, I loved it.
Okay.
I absolutely loved my university career. So I think that made it easy. I had a really good bunch of friends, which helped the process as well. And even the lecturers and so on, there's a few of them now that I just respect so much because it helps you in your career and molds you. You look at professionals now when you're studying and you're like, one day I want to be like Dr. So-and-so. And then now you're like, oh my gosh, you're my colleague. And it's amazing to actually have
So
that
cool.
feeling. Yeah.
Were you the first dentist in your family, or your parents? What are they?
My
dentist?
parents more into business, mom's
Okay.
into more of the cosmetology and so
Okay,
on. So yeah, in my immediate family, first dentist.
First, yeah, I think me too. Maybe we've got a lot of like doctors and stuff.
Yeah.
Might have also been also the first lawyer apart from my dad. But anyway, okay, it's about you, not me. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got into dental school. You didn't have to struggle to get in and do other things and force your way.
Did you apply for dentistry
Yeah,
only?
that's
Okay.
well, dentistry, and then I
Good question.
also wanted to go into genetics as well. So microbiology, and I was also always quite curious about genetics.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that, yeah.
So you weren't one of those that applied for medicine and then dentistry
No.
and
I
then
just wanted dental.
so you knew.
I
Oh,
knew.
good. And did you?
Yeah.
Shoosh, that's hectic. But no regrets.
No regrets.
How was dental school? Any difficult moments? Any?
I just didn't understand why I was doing physics and chemistry again
Okay,
in
yeah.
first year.
First year.
So I think that was just gosh. And then I think the one was, what was it? Pharmacology was where you just have to remember all of the dosages and so on. So that just like messed with my brain a
Okay,
little.
that is kind of relevant. Come on.
No, it of course it is.
But
I mean,
wait, physics and chemistry? Do you also have to do physics and chemistry?
year,
Is that part of
yeah.
you guys' syllabus?
Yeah, I think it was probably different for you.
It was, yeah, we didn't have, we actually went straight into anatomy and
Oh gosh,
and
next time we should
physiology.
go study where you studied.
Chemistry. In first year. It was a 6 month. It was a semester course for us, and I failed. I got 27%. It was the lowest mark I've gotten in my life. I had to do it again in first year.
And the first year humbled
in the
you.
Second half, yeah.
Yeah.
And I told the story. So there's a neurologist named Dr. Rohini Bisaal, and him and I were in the same class. And he went to school as a diligent person does, and the marks were out on the board, notice board or whatever it is.
Sure.
And he calls me, and I'm still half asleep at res. And I wake up, he says, hey, the marks are out. Do you want to know what you got? And I'm like, yeah, half asleep. He says, are you sure? I said, yeah. He's like, okay, you got 27. So, yeah.
But
That's how I found out.
we all go through things like that in university. I mean, university is such a jump from high school.
Yeah.
I mean, you think you got things figured out, but it really humbles you. It builds you, and again, makes you it's part of your story.
Yeah,
so.
6 A's to
Look
failing.
at you here.
6 A's to failing. I mean, was it a battle for you, or did you also breeze through dental school?
I wouldn't say I breezed through it. There were definitely difficulties and hurdles. But again, you just gotta. At least I think there was. She's now a colleague of mine. She was 2 or 3 years ahead of me, where she just helped me out with giving me. I mean, she gave me her lab coat and books and whatever. So I utilized that to also just help me with my studies. So I'm also grateful that I did have people there to support me and help me out as well. So definitely grateful for that. But yes, you do have hurdles. I mean, even with pracs and stuff, you're not going to just know how to do a filling in your first go. You've got to literally apply yourself and do it multiple times to get it right. So I'm very open. I mean, even till this day, I always feel I can be better. And I think that's also what helps you. You know, you're not going to be the best, but you can always strive to be better as well.
So you were never there thinking, what am I doing here? Did I make the wrong decision? Or it was like,
from a decision making, no. Yeah. I've never doubted myself in that way. I think it's, I don't remember.
And what did you, because I know a lot of us, when we're in dental school, a lot of people think, okay, I want to be a maxillofacial surgeon, or I want to do this or that. Did you have any of those inclinations then? Or
look, not really, because I really didn't have anybody guiding me in my family with regards to even like specializing and doing things like that, because nobody had that back. I mean, my parents, for example, grateful that they even pushed me through university. I've seen my family grow up and struggle and so on. So it wasn't just a bunch of roses and everything handled on a silver plate. The fact that my parents literally sent us to university was a huge thing, you know? So it was just taking it one step at a time, essentially. Yeah, and figuring it out.
And I think, you know, from our culture and our background, we're still guilty, like from a generational perspective, of having expectations, not just getting into medicine or dentistry or law or whatever it is, but even then, to specialize, to become the best at it. Not just there's always like one expectation after the other. And as you said, rightfully so, you came from a background where there was no expectation of you to have to achieve that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I see it through your social media. You're proud of your work. You're proud of being a dentist. And I mean, it's great. You put your work out there, and it's nice to look at, because some people also, like it's just completely off topic, but a lot of people are scared of like peer review things. People won't post stuff because they're afraid of what other people are going to think about themselves. And it translates more so to dentistry and who you are as a professional,
Yeah.
that from your personal life as well, where
100% agree
you're not
with you.
afraid of posting
I
things
think
that you
a
want.
lot of what translates into our career is our personal life story and who we are as a human being. And I think that is a ripple effect to everything we do in life. I mean, yes, initially when I started posting about the work, I mean, I was in first year of private practice and I was already putting before and after pictures, not knowing, okay, my colleagues are going to review this. And that was never even in the back of my mind. I just thought, oh, look, I did a whitening case. Oh, the teeth are like whiter than before. That was literally all I saw and I was proud of it. I didn't look at whether the patient had levels of recession and go, oh,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
we don't want to go through that. But I honestly just was happy that I did that for my patient, and knowing that the patient is happy is the most important thing for me. Because I could do a composite bonding or veneer for a patient, and my colleague would be like, oh no, maybe you could taper a little bit more in, or why don't you use a bit of translucency on the edges and so on. The patient is happy. That's the most important thing. Getting judged by your peers is one thing, and I'm always open to criticism and criticism in general. But again, my biggest goal is to make the patient happy. I'm the one sitting and having the discussion with them. What do they want? Show me a picture if you have a picture. Let's see the best we can do. And it's the effort that you put in with the patient, and you make them comfortable and you gain their trust.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. It's not just straight on doing the work.
No, of course.
There's so much of background feelings and emotions that go in it
exactly.
as well.
And that's the thing. I mean, we're not posting for a journal or anything like that. I was asked on another podcast recently, like, why don't you post any of your work? Because if you look at my practice social media, it's more fun. It's more like it's a lot of dark humor as well that we do post about, but nothing too clinical. We should really focus on that a little bit more. But my answer was, I don't also want to create expectation, because the other side of it is that patients, if we do that, we're also guilty of that, where we'll look at something pre-existing on social media and we'll have this expectation that we create for ourselves, that I want that and this person can have it and I will probably be able to get that. And then it creates a false expectation for ourselves and also from the practitioner.
100%.
Because then we go in with a whole different set of variables and we expect that same result.
But don't you think also from what you just said, which I think is very important, in your consult, what I always tell the patient, your smile is exceptionally different to everybody else's smile. And you go through that and you break it down for them so they understand before you even touch their teeth. You're not going to get what you see on another person's smile. So that's patient education.
Exactly.
Starts there. But again, valid.
And that's why I don't like whitening. Because there's so many variables.
Yeah, I mean, Yak said his page is dark humor, a lot of it. And that just shows that he's authentic, because Yak is dark and he's humorous. So that's him. I had to slip that in somewhere. Look, and also as professionals, on the point of putting things out there and knowing that your colleagues are going to be looking at it. As professionals, we're critical people, like in general. Like I think we've been trained to be critical because we're striving for excellence all the time. So there's always that risk that I might be looking at my colleague's thing and thinking, oh gosh, why would you post that? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to professionally, because that's your job, right? As a Tani.
No, it's not my job. No, my job is just to observe and guide. So if I had to, and also maybe being a man, I've got that inner urge to mansplain things. I'm also a recovering mansplainer, where I'm saying I don't give unsolicited advice. So I wouldn't say to you, so if I see you posting something, Rohini, unless you ask me to do this, which you can ask me now, if I see something that might give you some risk, I'm not going to go out of my way and say, hey, doc, I love your post, but by the way, you shouldn't have done X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be a mansplainer and give unsolicited advice. But I do that, unfortunately, to my wife and my family. So that's why in the family, I'm like the grumpy, negative person, because I just give them unsolicited advice all the time.
But look, it's for their benefit. So I guess being in that realm, it helps.
Yeah. So what's your 2 questions?
Yeah.
I'm going to frame them positively. Although deep down inside, I want to ask it negatively. What's your favorite thing about dentistry, and what's your least favorite thing about dentistry? And when I say least favorite, what do you hate about dentistry?
Oh, okay. Gosh, that's a tricky one. I was definitely not prepared for that one. What I love about dentistry, I know it's going to sound so cheesy,
Okay. No, sound cheesy then. It's
but
fine.
it's literally just making another person smile.
Yeah.
Purely because the industry is stressful. I don't think people understand how much of stress the career can. I've learned this over the years. I think the last couple of years being in dentistry, when I first started off, it was a breeze. It was much better. But as you grow and as you become more specialized in the work that you do, it can become more stressful. You take on every patient's anxiety when they're sitting in that chair. And I have tons of patients, I'm sure you guys do too. Patients literally come in and they're like, I hate the dentist.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell it to you face on. And I know they don't mean it in a malicious way or, it's nothing to do with you as a person, but it's still kind of, if you're having a bad day as well, can hit a bit deep, right? We're human at the end of the day, So I think it's for the negative thing. I think that's one of the things where I think the career or dentistry as a whole is associated with anxiety and fear and negativity. And trying to translate that in the chair with the patient can sometimes get quite difficult, especially if the patient is a very difficult patient or unfortunately they've had really bad experiences. I think it's just holding that space for them, being patient with them, but taking the time to do that so they have a better experience. But again, that takes time. And you can't blame the patient either. So I think it's more so sometimes when they just have a bad experience, and they come through and try to have a better one. So
it takes time and it takes patience, right?
Yeah.
When we talk, especially to dental students, when we go and give these talks on professionalism after dental school, right?
Yeah.
I always say, excuse me, it's easy to be professional when everything's going right.
Yeah.
But in dentistry, the nature of the business is that a lot of the time people are in pain and it's difficult interactions with humans where you're putting your hand in somebody's mouth and hurting them sometimes, right? And they're afraid. And then they're difficult. And that's when there's a risk of you as the clinician being unprofessional. Like I hated dentistry. That's why I got out as soon as I could.
Sure.
Because I found myself being unprofessional towards patients. Like patients would come in and say to me exactly the same thing. Every dentist knows this. Patient comes and say, I hate the dentist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget, some patients used to say to me, Doc, it's my first time at the dentist. And I was so, young, cocky, unprofessional. I would say, oh, this is my first time seeing a patient. And then just to make them a bit riled up. And then they so, dentistry is difficult. And that's why I got out. So I respect
I love
dentists.
the realness of that, though. I actually love that you are able to say that because, again, everyone's journey is so different. And it's so valid as well, being a dentist and verbalizing that, because I think it's so necessary for even patients to know that this is also what we go through as well. I think it's so important.
Well, it's easy for me to say that now because I'm out, right? But I'm pretty sure there are lots of dentists out there that feel exactly the way I'm verbalizing. But, you can't really say it, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But gosh, guys, let's shed some light on the situation. That took a dark turn.
You like dark stuff, so.
Yeah, no, but not right now. I mean, we're in Durban. But on the flip side of that, you might not know this, but you and I have actually quite a lot of overlapping patients, because a lot of my patients up in Bedford View have homes in where you practice, and they often, during December or whatever, they go down and they see each other. And just recently, actually, someone
Yes, you did. Yeah,
someone came and she gave us feedback, and the feedback was that the demeanor that you and I have are quite similar, actually.
Oh, lovely.
And I mean, it was positive. This is a person that we, extensive treatment was done on her, and she came in for like corrective stuff, and we basically had to change the way that she saw us as a profession, because she had a lot of work done previously, and we achieved that to a certain degree because we gave her a better smile, and more so above all of that, because I mean, I have a philosophy that most people can do dentistry. It's terrible. I don't say this to many people, but not many people can or have the emotional quotient to be able to connect with someone to allay their fears. And this is something that she said, we have in common, because she saw you for something temporary in Durban. And I think that is probably what attracts you to dentistry as well. Because if you had asked me that question at what attracts me, I'm not attracted to dentistry. I'm attracted to the person behind the tooth that would enable me to have a conversation or just to connect or
So true.
or allow me to, be who I want to be, which is a patient-centered person rather than a problem-centered tooth. Am I correct in
I
that
love how you,
summation?
yes, I love how you articulated that, and that is so true. And thank you as well for that feedback. I'm really happy about that as well.
Yeah, I'll
But
ask her to leave you a Google review.
No, that I think it's so important because it is how you make a person feel. Yes, they're a patient, but they're also a human and a person. And if you can gain that trust, and if you can give them what they also envision for themselves and make them feel comfortable in their own skin and teeth, all right? That you've won, I feel,
Yeah, I'm going to agree with both of you. And in hindsight, I think that's why I left dentistry, is because I realized at that stage that it's more than just technical ability.
Yeah.
It's you have to connect with the patient. And I would have been a bad dentist because I wouldn't have connected. I didn't have that in me to do that. Like it's a big skill to be a successful dentist. You guys need to give yourself more credit, and the successful ones do. A lot of people, they think it's all like fluffy and we just want to be technically sound and do the most exquisite textbook things, but that's not what counts. Patients don't care about textbook. They want to feel treated and cared for and connected with.
That's so true. No, I do 100% agree with you with that. And I'm glad that we can slowly just change the narrative of dentistry where they don't see it as you're going into this room and then there's just like all these dental equipment and it's like a horror movie. It's really not that anymore. And I'm so glad that we can do that for patients. I think it's great. Yeah.
So yeah, let's circle back to social media. How's that? Is that a side hustle, a full-time thing? Do you generate income from it, or
it's not a full-time thing?
Yeah,
I would say it honestly just happened. I honestly, can I just be very raw and authentic here? I don't like being seen as an influencer.
okay.
I think there's just so much of negativity behind just being called an influencer and so on, and that's not my purpose here. I literally, again, just grew my social media by sharing what I do in life. It was literally my diary, and then people saw it as, okay, maybe let me send you this product and post about it and so on. And yes, it's been a bit of a side hustle for me, which it's great. But again, everything that I do, I need to make sure that it's authentic as possible. As much as a company would send me a brief and tell me, okay, this is what they want, da 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 da. You're like, listen, it needs to also sort of amalgamate in what I am as a human as well. So I think it's great that that is an opportunity, and I'm very grateful for that. I really didn't plan to become a content creator or influencer, whatever the term may be, but it happened. And if it happened, I'm going to own it, and I'm going to do my best in whatever it is. So
they send you stuff, and you get paid for these things. That's cool.
Sometimes it depends on the brand.
Why don't you do these things?
Well, I actually did something recently that I can't. I'm not allowed to mention the name, but I didn't get paid for it.
Yeah.
But they took me on a very intense, like almost mini expedition thing.
Amazing.
The problem with that, though, is that the specific company that we did the shoot for, 6 months later, a very famous mountaineer used this product, and it led to fatality because of the product malfunctioning.
Oh dear.
And he called them out. This person that demise was part of his team, and then he called them out. And I mean, it's a tracking device basically.
Yeah.
But then in retrospect, I'm thinking about it. Like, the campaign hasn't launched yet. This product was out there in the market, and then I was thinking to myself, every day today, people are not going to know about this.
Yeah, stop disclosing too much. I don't want to get us sued, okay? But the point is, the point I was making is, you must do this. This is quite cool. And back to you, Rohini.
Yeah. That's awesome, though. That's great.
You got to be be wary of.
I mean, geez, imagine if you did post about it, though, and then that happens.
I did kind of that I shouldn't have.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so
comes with the good and bad.
And it's like all sorts of things. Is it dental stuff or?
Some of it is dental.
Yeah.
Some of it is, different random brands that
Yeah.
are more, I mean, like wellness stuff or like.
Why do they come to you? Don't be humble. I mean, why do they come to you? Like, is it because you have lots of followers? Is
I
it
guess
because you're influential?
It's just such
I'm
a
not setting you up
I don't know how
for.
to like. It's
Yeah.
so hard to answer this question. I would like to hope and think that when I do work with brands, I form a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, there's a jewelry brand I've been working with for years. And we've formed such a healthy relationship with each other where that's more important to me than me just having these once-off campaigns and so on, and they just treat you like a client. So I think it's also the way you approach it as well. Yes, there are other brands that are just like business and they have PR teams that communicate with you and so on. Cool. But I like to think that whenever I post up content or whenever I do work for any brands, I would like to think I do it in a way that makes them happy, but also makes me happy at the same time. So when I do post it, I'm living up to the standard I also want to maintain and as well as make the brand happy as well. Yeah. But also there's so many brands that do approach, right? And I don't accept all of them because it doesn't resonate with me and my content that I post up. So it's not even about the money and so on. And I think that's what I hope influencers and content creators also listen to this, is because you can't just take everything just because it pays the bills, or if it doesn't correlate with your content and what you can easily see that as well. So you don't want to also risk your brand being questioned as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I do agree there's a lot of facets to a human being, and there's a lot of facets to me which I try to show the world. But if somebody's going to come up to me and tell me to promote something that doesn't interest me at all, I have no knowledge about that, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
What's your biggest platform? And do you know how many followers you have on each platform and things like that? Honestly, I do. Look, I'll be honest with you.
oh gosh.
I started the TikTok for this channel, and every now and then I go to Yak and I'm like, okay, we've hit 900 followers. Okay, we've hit 1,000. I track those things. I'm
amazing.
I'm weird like that.
Yeah, but that's good because that shows you. I wish I was more. I was more on point with that.
Okay.
As you are, I just don't have the time to do it, and also I think I just get a bit fuzzy. But TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah,
haven't really. I have a YouTube account, but I don't really use that much. But it's just those two.
Well, I know you've got. I looked this morning. You've got like 55,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah. TikTok, is that more or less?
It's more.
More.
Yeah.
Like a lot more.
108.
108. Okay, but who's counting? 108. It's a very specific number, but I'm not counting. Okay, cool.
Very holy number.
Okay, well that explains it. The brands want exposure. They come to you. Everybody's going to want you to put their thing out there. You've got to be discerning about it.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. It's really cool.
Yeah. Look, again, it just happened. I mean, during COVID, we were all making those funny viral videos, right? That's how it started. Like, literally 2020, COVID happened. We weren't going to work. I mean, what are you going to do? Sit at home and make videos. I mean, there's one video I made in COVID that reached like 1.5 million.
Wow.
From a random video that was audio on TikTok.
Yeah.
Just like, if you don't want to die from COVID, you just like stay at home, stay at work, or go to the hospital, and basically it's something so silly, right? Yeah. But it just went viral, and like
1.5 million views. Just got me thinking, you're a woman on the internet. How's the creeps out there?
Oh, very creepy.
Yeah?
Incredibly creepy.
What do people say and do?
Do you really want to know that?
Yes, I really do. It's not every day I get to speak to somebody who's got a video that's got 1.5 million views. So tell us.
You get the creepies out there. I mean, there's a lot of people that, I don't even know if I should mention this now, but...
Well, don't mention names, but what do they say?
No, it's these fake accounts that are on TikTok that pretend to be me, and a person got scammed. And they're messaging me and they tell me, oh, you scammed me. And I'm like, no, I didn't. But again, the only thing with TikTok that I have an issue with, again, I don't know if I should be saying this. Yeah. They don't regulate, so they don't really have a good safety backing for their users. I still utilize it wherever I can, but I just find it a little, how can I say, dangerous?
Okay.
Because they literally used AI. I'll show you the video later, and it's me mimicking what they want me to say by using, and it looks as if I'm saying what I'm saying. I think we need to create awareness about this, because the guy was literally like, hey, this is my name. Don't really rest assured that this is me. And they've just taken a video that I posted about something completely different, but my lip is saying what they want me to say.
It's called deepfakes.
Exactly.
Deepfake,
yeah. He believed
it's not
that,
TikTok
though.
specific. It's any platform.
Yeah. And the guy believed it, got scammed, and my face is there.
Yeah.
So it does get a little, and I mean, even me approaching attorneys about that, apparently there's no rules for social media trying to protect users of, and that also was just such a dampening, because you work so hard to get to a point of creating positivity with your social media, and then you just get this that just can dampen it. So
Yeah.
Well,
I'll put you in touch with some good social media lawyers if you've got issues. But it's scary.
Oh, amazing! Thank you. It is scary. It's exceptionally scary, especially as a female as well.
That's why I said as a woman.
As a woman, you have to be so wary. Like, even when I go out and so on, I never post real time.
Okay.
Especially if I'm driving alone and so on, I will always make sure I'm in a safe place and post when I'm at home. Because I do believe that there has been instances where somebody actually followed me, and it was quite scary. So I have to be very wary about those things.
Yeah,
and
you put your car and your number plate out there, and I think she's brave.
Yeah, you know, back in the day when I first got the car, I was just like, oh, it's cool, not realizing that it could be a risk.
It's a red Porsche, and it's got your name on it.
Oh
so...
dear, thanks, Yash. There we go. Now it's on the podcast.
I'm comfortable to say it because you put it out there.
Yeah, it's there.
I would never otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, it's fascinating. Putting things out there, and I always wonder from both sides. There's positives and negatives. There's going to be creeps out there. There's going to be people that come to you and say, hey, Doc, you've inspired me to do this, or you've inspired me.
That's exactly what I focus on.
Yeah.
And that's literally why I still do what I do. I could have easily been like, let me shut down my social media accounts and just go completely off the radar purely because of the negativity. But when somebody comes to me, especially if the young ones, just like, they melt my heart. A young female coming to me and telling me, you inspire me. Tell me more. Can I come shadow you? If it's one person, that's enough, honestly. It's just, again, focusing on the positive, focusing on what you're doing to the world. And if you can change it in a little, like, small, little minute space, I mean, that's it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you aware of those stats, like from a follower perspective? What's your demographic? I'm assuming it's probably a lot of young Indian females that do follow you.
It's a lot of young ones, yes. You do get the creeps that are over 50, 60, of course, yeah. But again, focusing on the young females and even young males. I mean, there's a young male that's contemplating dentistry, and he's keeps on messaging me about, like, okay, tell me more about this and whatever. And I'm willing to help, because that's why I'm here. I'm not going to just, like, not be willing, and I think that's what I'm passionate about as well. So wherever I can help, I will. But yeah, I think with regards to TikTok, it's like all around the world. I think because, when certain videos go viral, it goes to different parts of the country. I mean, when I was in Mauritius the one year, just posting in Mauritius, you get a whole lot of followers from that country.
The Mauritians love to, like, follow people, even with me. Like, when I post stuff. But then I lived in Mauritius, so...
Oh, there we go. Yes. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm feeling left out. Nobody follows me, and nobody says anything nice to me. Okay, well, this is just me asking for attention. We're holding you up,
it's all good.
Yeah.
We'll follow you.
Retweet me and stuff. Please. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff. Please, guys. Yeah. I'm a recovering negative cynic person, so please make me feel better. Okay, cool. I just want to clarify something, because you mentioned you mentioned the creeps who are over 50 and 60. I think you meant it in the context that there are creepy people that are old that approach you, not because they're 50 or 60. They're not the fact that they're older and follow you doesn't make them creepy.
I didn't want to.
I don't want it to come across. I knew exactly what you meant, but it might come across
from a young female perspective. I am getting older, but it isn't comfortable when I see somebody my dad's age, or you know what I mean. It just is. It doesn't settle well. Okay. But I think at the same time, when you look at the profile picture, this is a completely different topic, which I also feel very passionate about. But again, just
tell me.
When you see a man who sends you, or even comments very publicly on your post or whatever, and they have a female in their profile picture where ideally could be their wife, I lose respect completely.
Okay.
I think that's one of the things I either, like, don't respond or block them or whatever, because I don't feel that's right as well. People need to know how to utilize their social media. But the more that this happens, the more you realize that it's a scary and a strange world out there with regards to people thinking they can just have a look at other people's stuff. And
do you respond to DMs and things? In general?
In general, I don't. Okay. To be honest with you, it's more of a protective thing. Unless it's business related or work related or brand related, I will. But again, if I need to help out with young professionals and stuff like that, yes. But if it's just, hey, how you do? No, I honestly don't. I don't have the number one, the time for it, and also don't want to engage with strangers. And that's where it can get quite scary, because the person then will think they're your friend and then pitch up to the practice or follow you home, which I've learned the hard way with that as well. And that was something I decided never again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Yak's camera is overheating, so we must wrap.
Sure.
I would milk this subject because it's fascinating to me for another.
You didn't have to mention the camera. You could have just said we need to wrap it up.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to. I'm trying to put it out there that, you know, we need better equipment, Yak. No, but so we always ask this question as like a closing question.
Sure.
You know, if somebody comes to you, if a young person approaches you online and says, Doc, you've inspired me. I think I want to do dentistry and become a dentist. Do you have any advice for me? What would you say to them?
Firstly, you got to have a passion for dentistry. You got to know what dentistry comes with. It's not just what you see from either my posts and thinking that it's going to be hunky-dory and so on. There's a lot that goes into it. So that's literally the first thing I tell the patient or person, sorry. And ask them why. I want to know your why before you making that comment and so on. And then you gauge, and then the conversation then flows from there.
I want to be rich. I want to drive a Porsche.
Then dentistry doesn't make you rich. It's more your mindset that you as a person have to emulate in the world and how you want to approach things as well. Again, I don't see myself as being it's so hard for me to say these things, but like a rich, successful dentist, whatever people may think it is, it takes a lot of hard work. I have my struggles. And again, I am open to verbalize the struggles if need be, but it isn't all you see. Social media is curated in a way where you will show people what you want them to see. It's not your whole life. So just don't be scammed into thinking that's what it is.
I love that answer. I want to find out your why, and then we take it from there.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yak, any closing comments? Rohini, anything?
Yeah, that was very similar to my answer that I gave. Like, you know, people need to have a informed decision-making process, and it's the why, it's the purpose. And well, my philosophy is, and I'm going to say it now in closing here from my side, but you got to have a 9 to 5 in order to, you know, discover your hobbies. And eventually through those hobbies, you'll find a passion, and eventually your passion will replace your 9 to 5. But thank you so much for coming on our show and continuing to inspire all the people out there that want to either get into dentistry or just be better. So thanks
so
from my
much.
side.
Thank you, Yak and Yak.
Thanks so much. And do me a favor, inspire your people to follow me also, right?
Of course. Please do follow Yak and Yak and their beautiful podcast.
It's Why Did I Become a Doctor? And you can subscribe. It's free. I've never said this on any episode before, but I think it's apt in a social media context.
For sure.
Please subscribe, guys. Like, you might watch this all the time and you're not subscribing. So do that. Do that, please. It helps. It helps the channel.
Or don't. Just if it resonates with you, then do what you feel is necessary.
We'll cut that in edit in post. Okay, thanks, Rohini. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.